Everybody. Welcome back to the Rebel Tribe podcast. I'm Melodian, and today's conversation is one that I've really been looking forward to. I recently met today's guest, Heidi Dennis, at the Empower conference, where she spoke about something that instantly caught my attention: working with your nervous system instead of against it. And honestly, in a world that constantly tells women to push harder and hustle more and overcome everything and somehow optimize ourselves into exhaustion, that message felt like a total breath of fresh air. So, Heidi is a licensed professional counselor and the author of a wonderful book that I just finished reading, Hello, Anxiety. And today we're going to talk about anxiety and burnout and boundaries and people pleasing and nervous system regulation and all the stuff and what sustainable success actually looks like for women trying to build lives and careers without completely running themselves into the ground. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed or exhausted or anxious, or there's traditional productivity advice that just doesn't work for you and you're wondering where to turn next, I think this conversation is really going to hit it for you. So let's dive in. Heidi, welcome.
Yay, thanks for having me.
Well, we both spoke at the Empower Her conference,
Mhm.
and you spoke about working with your nervous system instead of against it. And honestly, I think that message is what hit a nerve with me and a lot of women in the room. What led you to that approach?
Well, I've been a licensed professional counselor for 15 years and do a lot of work with anxiety. Have worked with thousands of clients over the course of that time. And anytime someone came in to meet with me with anxiety, they had one goal in common: make it stop, make the anxiety stop. And we in working with learning how to work with your anxiety instead of making it stop um, has been what I've seen make the biggest impact for my clients. Because if you try to make your anxiety stop, you can't. We all have anxiety. We all need anxiety because it keeps us safe. It's trying to protect us. And if we learn how to work with it, we can learn how to manage how to respond to it in a new way.
That's, I think you are the first professional counselor that I have ever said we need our anxiety. I've never heard anyone say that ever. So thank you for that. Okay.
Yes, we need it. We need it. If a car's coming at you, you need a dose of anxiety to get out the way.
So what first drew you into counseling and mental health work?
Well, I before I was a counselor, I was a juvenile probation officer randomly. Before that, I ran a Boys and Girls Club, and I just saw so many kids struggling. And I wanted to see if I could meet them a little bit earlier down the path of it's before they got to juvenile probation and on in court. I wanted to be able to try to help them. And so I started working with kids in school-based counseling, and then since then I've expanded on into private practice and see mostly teens through adults. Yeah, it's been quite a ride, but amazing.
Was there a moment in your career? Because I know now that you're focusing on anxiety, was there a moment when you realized that, anxiety and burnout were becoming, I don't know, almost normal for women?
Yeah, I mean, I would say not necessarily a moment. It's just something that is so common and so misunderstood. Um, I like to call anxiety a compassionate teacher. And I say that a little tongue in cheek because it doesn't always feel very compassionate. It kind of feels annoying sometimes, and we want to make it stop. Um, but if we learn to listen to it, if we learn to ask, what is this trying to tell me right now? That is our key to knowing how to respond to it. Um, yeah, and so it was just such a common question that I had that I wanted to learn how to help people with it.
Is that what inspired you to write Hello, Anxiety?
It is, it is. I saw so many clients receiving such freedom from their anxiety and learning to work with it instead of fighting against it, that I thought, well, how do I get this message to more people? So I wrote Hello Anxiety. It's available on Amazon. Um, but I just, yeah, I wanted to reach more people with that message, that it's not something you have to stop or fight.
Is that one of the biggest misunderstandings, do you think? What do most people misunderstand about anxiety?
Most people think that there's something wrong with them if they feel anxious, that somehow their body is malfunctioning and they're somehow broken in some way. But the truth is, my favorite definition of anxiety, all it is in a nutshell, is your nervous system responding to a perceived threat, meaning your nervous system is recognizing that either there's a danger or there's something that you're perceiving as a danger that might not necessarily be a danger. Um, and it's trying to send off that signal to try to help you. Kind of like your smoke alarm. If your smoke alarm goes off in the middle of the night, you kind of want to know if there's a danger. Sometimes it's a false alarm. Sometimes you go check and you need to just disable it and go back to bed. Or sometimes there's a fire and you need to get safe to safety. But either way, it's not malfunctioning, it's serving its purpose and trying to alert you that something's wrong or that you're worried about something, which requires a response from us instead of just trying to ignore it or think we're broken.
So, unlike everything that we've been taught most of
Mhm.
our lives, it's not always negative. It can actually be useful.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I know it can be very confusing if there's not a danger, right? We can all be aware that anxiety is helpful if we're experiencing a legitimate threat. But other things, when our nervous system is going off, other things that it might be trying to tell us is, I'm worried about this and I might need some extra support. It might be telling us, I need to prepare for this. It might be telling us, you know what, this reminds me of something that I went through that scared me in the past. And it's not a present threat, but it reminds me of that. So I need to maybe do some work with that. Maybe I need to talk to a therapist about that, or remind myself that I'm safe now, right? Our nervous system can make us feel unsafe when it reminds us of a past trauma, when in reality, right now, we are safe. And so there's so many useful messages that it's sending us to try to help us um, meet that need and know how to respond.
Do you think, I don't know, this is just kind of my perception, but do you think that modern culture rewards anxious behavior without realizing it?
I do. I think social media is kind of an obvious, you know, it rewards just social media, internet, it rewards just immediate gratification, or I need to know that thing right now, or I need to do that thing right now, or my goodness, I need to be accessible to everybody right now, right? And so
Hmm.
um, when your notification goes off or somebody's trying to get in touch with you, um, your nervous system will respond to gear you up to take that message or look that thing up or scroll just a little bit further. And it's set up to reward us for doing that, but it's not always what our system needs.
Hmm. I thought maybe it was just me, so it's good to hear a professional say, no, it's
Nope.
not just you.
Nope. Anxiety is a moneymaker, right? It's a moneymaker for social media. It's a moneymaker for anti-anxiety products. You know, the number of products out there I see that's supposed to decrease your anxiety just kind of makes me giggle of like, I'm feeling anxious and this lavender candle is going to fix it all and make it all magically go away, right? It's not going to work.
I love that we have a pill for everything nowadays. No matter what it is, pop a pill, you'll feel better.
You pop a pill. Yep.
One of the things that you said at the conference that in your presentation that just really stood out to me was that it's easier to work with your nervous system than against it.
Yeah.
What does that actually look like in daily life?
Yeah. So a practical step by step if you're feeling anxious. And when I say anxious, sometimes you'll have a physical response because your nervous system is gearing you up to respond. So if I have either something I'm anxious or worried about, or I think about something that maybe is on my to-do list that I don't necessarily need to do right now, but it's on my mind, just the thought will immediately engage my nervous system, um, so that I will respond and do that thing. So it might tighten my muscles up so that I can act, or it might increase my heart rate, or it might increase my breathing. My nerve endings might be tingling to kind of go and do that thing that I thought about doing. Um, and so when you're feeling that in your body, right? Whether it's an anxious response of a worry or something that you think about, an action item that you think about doing, the first thing you need to ask yourself is there a threat right now? Or is that something I need to do right now, take care of right now? If the answer is yes, well, your nervous system's done the prep work for you, so you can go and do it, right? Do the task, get to safety. But if the answer is no, which is really what I've found most commonly the case when anxiety comes up, there's usually not a threat. Or if we think about something we need to do, a lot of the times it's not a right now thing, it's a tomorrow morning thing. If the answer is no, what it requires of us is a response to our nervous system of, hey, I don't have to do that thing right now, or hey, there's no danger right now, I'm safe, right? And it might take a little bit of grounding work, slowing down, just to kind of let that message seep into our nervous system to kind of slowly give it permission to release for us. But it does require that overt of a response from us, in order for us to learn how to shift. Um, if you just fight it and just push it away instead of, is there a threat, or is this a right now thing, or nope, I don't have to do that right now. If we don't respond to it, it's going to fight us because it's trying to get our attention. It's trying to listen to us and say, you're worried about that thing. Well, I'm going to help you handle it. But if we fight it, it's like, oh, well, she's not listening. Let me talk a little louder. Let me increase the heart rate a little bit more. Let me keep letting that thought intrude, right? Because it's like I'm trying to help you.
Are there signs that like someone's nervous system is, I guess maybe overloaded is the word, you know?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of times people might kind of chronically get stuck in that anxious place. And so it does take a little bit of work and muscle memory to kind of release that. Sometimes people might need medication. I know I've done neurofeedback for myself to kind of help release some of that, which was something my nervous system was trying to send me the message of, hey, you need a little additional support, which is totally fine to do because I don't want to oversimplify. If you just tell your anxiety, nope, you're fine, and it'll magically listen. And so yeah, I think we do sometimes need that extra support. But physically, what's happening? If I can kind of nerd out for a little bit, is that okay? Your
Sure.
listeners good with a little nerd science action?
Oh, hey, they don't come much nerdier than me, so go for it.
Hey, I love it. I love it. So your nervous system, there's the main nerve that runs through your nervous system is called your vagus nerve. And it's made up of three strands. One starts at the base of your neck and goes all the way down to your stomach. One starts at the base of your neck and goes to your chest. And then one just kind of lives up in your brainstem. And it's your built-in alarm system, and each strand is a different level of alarm. So the one that goes all the way down to your stomach, that one is triggered when it's a significant threat. So I'm talking like your body is shutting down because it's like, this is going to be bad. I don't want to feel it. You might disassociate. You might feel completely sick to your stomach. This is like top level threat that your nervous system is gearing you up for to protect you. Um, the one that goes to your chest is kind of your moderate threat level. And so this is the one a lot of times you'll hear like fight, flight, or freeze. That's the one that's triggered with the middle section. And how you'll experience that is your chest will tighten. You'll feel the rapid breathing, you'll feel the nerve endings tingling, heart rate pumping a little bit more, clenching jaw, clenching shoulders, all in that central area. That tells you, okay, this isn't like a severe, I need to shut down operations right now, but this doesn't feel good, but I have options, right? I can choose how to respond. The third strand, which is my favorite, that's the one that's triggered when you feel safe. And so that can be triggered by being with another person that feels safe and comforting to you. So when you're with that person, you feel a sense of calm. It can be triggered with a good hug that lasts at least 20 seconds. You'll notice those shoulders dropping. It can be triggered by a memory that makes you feel safe. If you just kind of close your eyes and picture a place or a memory that induces feelings of peace for you, that will trigger that third strand of your nervous system that, oh, we're okay now. We can rest now. And so it's so cool how it really is fine-tuned to tell us not only are we experiencing some kind of threat, but also what level of threat, but also it gives us a path to peace. It gives us a path to safety. And if we don't listen, we're never going to find that path to peace.
I'm glad you said fight, flight, or freeze because I always use fight or flight. And I have been in many instances where I have seen people just totally freeze and you know, you're looking
Mhm.
at them going, so you're going to run? Or are you going to help me? Okay.
Yep.
Well, what are you
I'm
going
a
to do here? Are you
freezer.
going to run? Or are you going to help me? And it's like, no, I'm just going to stand here.
Yep. I'm a freezer.
How do boundaries connect to nervous system regulation?
Ooh, that is a great question. Um, my mind immediately goes to internal boundaries in terms of boundaries that I set up around my time. And so if we're thinking about your nervous system going off because you had a thought about something you need to do, or you're trying to focus on something and someone else has reached out and said, hey, 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 I need you real quick. Um, for me, an example of a boundary to kind of get my nervous system focused in the way I want it to go would be, hey, I'll get back to you later, or hey, it's not time to do that thing that I just thought of right now. And so, kind of like an internal boundary to protect your time, whether it's you're letting someone else know it's not time to do that thing right now, or you're letting yourself know. Um, to me, I see that great use for boundaries. But if you were referring to like boundaries with other people as well, or
Well, I had to ask because in general, I see so many women struggle to maintain any kind of boundaries, even when we
Mhm.
know we need them. Okay, we know
Mhm.
we need to maintain boundaries, and that is the fact that we don't contributes so greatly to some of our senses of anxiety.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
why do we struggle so hard to just say no or to
Right.
just remove ourselves from situations that we know cause us to have problem? I don't, why? You talk to these women, why?
No. Yes. I have you ever seen that little meme that says she said no and discovered the world did not open up and swallow her whole? Yeah, I think we need to reshape the narrative around the answer no, that it's not mean and it's not rejection, that it's okay. One of the things I said at the conference was if you're trying to protect your boundary and protect your time, and someone's trying to get an answer from you, a lot of times we assume that they do expect that answer right then and there, but I've found that people don't always care as much when you're going to get back to them as long as they know when you're going to get back to them. And so it's not oh, I need to drop everything I'm doing and go do this thing right now. It's hey, I can't do that right now, but I will get back to you by next Wednesday at 3. Or, hey, I can't do that thing right now, but why don't you check with so and so, right? And so you're honoring the part of yourself that wants to like help and respond, but you're also at the same time protecting your boundary and your space. And I think that's crucial. We don't have to be everything for everybody. We can't be everything for everybody. Our nervous system would be a wreck.
Well, that's what made me ask because I posted one day on my Facebook page that I just said, no is a complete sentence.
Yes.
And my comment box was just flooded with, well, you don't have to be so abrupt. You could be a little
Oh.
kinder. You can, no's okay, but you could offer an explanation as to why. And I'm like, I don't have to. No, I said no. That's it. We're done.
No means
Okay.
no.
And I
Yeah.
wasn't being mean. I wasn't being snotty. The answer was just no.
Yeah. For sure. For
It
sure.
made me stop and really look at how many women think that when you say no, you owe them an explanation why,
Yeah.
or no, you don't. It's no.
Yeah. Absolutely. I always kind of a little trick that I use to listen to my nervous system in regards to know instinctively whether or not to say yes or no to something is I like to check my bank account. And when I say bank account, I don't mean my physical money bank account at my local bank. I mean my energy bank account, my emotional bank account. And so if somebody asked me to do something or if I'd be interested in participating in something, my initial nervous system response gives me the answer. So if I feel a sense of dread or overwhelmed, I know that if I say yes to that thing, it's going to overdraw my account and I don't have it to give. And so that needs to be a no for me. But if I feel energized, I notice my nervous system kind of getting energized and excited, or maybe curious or intrigued, like it felt when you asked me to come be on your podcast. That's how I felt was, oh, that sounds fun. I would love to do that. Then to me, that's my nervous system telling me, oh, that's a yes. But so often we don't check our own account before we give our answer. And just like if we could overdraft our bank account by overspending our money, and we check our account hopefully to see if we have the money to give, why do we not do that with our energy and with our time, checking our account to see if we have it to give?
Do you think it's, I don't know, hustle culture maybe? Has it damaged our relationship with ourselves?
Yeah, I think it's hustle culture. I think it's we've been hardwired for that immediate response to something. So we expect it out of the internet of like, oh, I had a thought. I wonder who is that person in that movie? I recognize that face. Well, let me immediately go look it up and figure out who that is. We want that immediate answer. And I think sadly we've come to expect that from those around us as well. Or we assume that others expect it of us. They need an immediate answer, and they don't. It's okay to give yourself time to think on it before you give an answer.
Well, we live in a world of instant gratification, unfortunately.
Right. And we don't have to be the instant gratifiers. I think that would be my like tagline to saying no. You don't have to be the instant gratifier.
Maybe I'll add that the next time I post.
Do it. Do
It'll
it.
be okay.
In a world of instant gratification, you don't
Be
have to
no.
be the instant gratifier. Be the no.
Uh, a lot of women in my audience are kind of reinventing themselves after 40.
Yeah.
Why can that trigger so much anxiety?
Mm, it's new. It's new. I'll turn 46 this year, and I was in a group practice for many, many years. And then 2 years ago, I decided to branch out into private practice at the age of 40, 43, 44. Um, and And from there, I've opened up a practice where I now have an office where other private practice therapists can come and work in a supportive culture. It happens to be all women, which is amazing. Um, but as I was doing it, I did feel very, very anxious because it was new and it was something that I didn't know. I'd been so used to working in a group of other people. Um, and so one thing I did to kind of like listen to my nervous system and kind of organize whether or not this was a threat and how to respond was I asked myself, is this a permanent stressor or a temporary stressor? So the things that I was worried about, I kind of would write them all down. If like I'm worried about this and this and this and this and this, like how do I figure out marketing and how do I figure out um, billing insurance and how do I figure like how do I find an office space? Like all the different things. And I found that as I like looked at them through the lens of is this an actual threat? Is this a permanent stressor or a temporary stressor? Almost everything I was worried about was a temporary stressor. It was something that once I figured that out, once I tackled that one, checked that box, it was no longer going to be an ongoing stressor for me because the unknown becomes the known at some point, doesn't it? The
Yeah.
unfamiliar at some point becomes the familiar. But the only way to get it to the familiar and the known is to walk through it. And so for those out there that are reinventing themselves, I would challenge you to do the same, to kind of list out what are the things that I'm worried about, that I'm scared of, that I question, um, and see which ones. And I would take a guess that like many of them are probably temporary stressors that will become the familiar one day to you.
Do you think maybe some of the anxiety comes from, because we're women, okay, we're women. Do you think it comes from years of being the caregivers, the people pleasers, years spent ignoring our own needs a lot of times in order to take care of others?
Yeah, absolutely. We wear a lot of hats. Um, Women are badasses. We just are.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. There's no, yeah, no ifs, ands, or buts. We just are. And we are capable of so, so much. Why do we doubt ourselves? Why do we doubt ourselves when we have carried so much for so long and proven that we're capable of doing so?
Why do we? Why do we feel so guilty? I guess is the guilty. Yeah. Why do we feel so guilty when we rest or when we go after something that we've been, that we've a dream that we've held for years that we finally have decided to pursue or a goal that we've wanted? Why do we feel so guilty about that?
Yeah. You know, I think it's sadly just been kind of programmed in us. Um, I also think yeah, it's what we're familiar with. It's what we're used to of doing and going and going and going and going and going, so that when we try to stop and rest, we feel like we're doing something wrong. But in reality, kind of circling it back to the nervous system, if we're used to going and going and going and going and going, and we sit down to rest, our nervous system is going to be like, well, I thought we were going. And so it might gear us up and it might fight us a little bit, to be honest. Um, because it's like, well, it's this time of day. Like this is normally what we do at this time of day. We're like going and doing, or we're responding immediately and we're saying yes to everybody who asks. And so it again, it might take a direct message back to your nervous system. At so many times, I'll be finally sitting on the couch at the end of a busy day, and my nervous system's like, but we still have things to do, and I will literally put my hand right here on my sternum, and I'll say, I give you permission to rest. I give you permission to rest. Um, and not until I do that does my nervous system kind of like, oh, okay,
I
there's
need to
nothing else we have to do right now.
I need to try that because that drives my husband crazy. I'll be sitting on the couch and I'll be looking at him going, I really should be doing
Mhm.
whatever. He'll just look at me like,
Yes.
well, if you're not going to get up and do it, then shut up. Okay.
Right? And even just you having that thought, your
Hmm.
nervous system was listening so intently to you that it geared you up full of energy and adrenaline and cortisol and all the things. Because it's like, oh, she wants to go do that thing. Well, let's go. And so it literally kind of like shifts the current towards doing that thing. And so you have one of two choices. You either go up and do the thing, or you tell your nervous system, oh, no, 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 my bad. We're not doing that right now. I give you permission to rest. And it'll listen. It'll listen.
I need to try that because really
Yeah.
he will look at me and he'll be like, "Well, are you going to go do whatever thing I'm
Right?
listing off to him that I really should be doing this instead of
Yeah.
just sitting here with I really should be doing this." It's like,
Yeah.
okay, then
Imagine
go.
like, I know, imagine like a current kind of carrying you one direction. That's what kind of your nervous system does when you think about something you need to do or want to do or feel like you should be doing. Which my favorite thing about should is don't should all over yourself. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Don't should all over yourself. Um, but your nervous system will kind of push you towards that action if you think about something you should be doing. And so if you were like, if there was like a stream pouring this way, imagine you're like, but I need it to go this other way. Or I need it to kind of still, I need to shut the valve off so it like stops running. It does take it takes a response to shift it back the other way. Otherwise, it's just going to keep flowing in the direction that it thinks you want to go. Does
But
that make
how,
sense?
yeah, but how do
Yeah.
we do that? Because I mean, we have years,
Hmm.
practically lifetimes, because we are taught from birth pretty much our roles as, the mom, the caregivers, the one
Hmm.
that sacrifices for the good of the whatever.
Yes.
How do we do that after years of overriding our own instincts for
Right.
self-care? We just keep
Right.
putting them down. How do we do that?
We have to be the one sending the message back to our nervous system. It's kind of like we're the air traffic controller of our own thoughts and our own energy. And if there's something that we feel like we need to do, but it's not a right now thing, just kind of picture it like a plane flying overhead, of like it's not time for that plane to land yet. But you're the only one who can tell that plane when to land. And so if you just kind of like let your nervous system or your anxiety or I should be doing this, your thoughts carry you towards an action item until you tell it, no, it's not time to land yet. I don't need to do that right now, and tell it where to go. Um, it will continue to be pushing you towards action. We have to say, hey, it's not time yet. I give you permission to rest. Sometimes we do have to make it a little experiential to get it to listen. Like sometimes we might have to kind of close our eyes and visualize a peaceful place. Sometimes we might have to do some grounding techniques. I've tried that before. If I'm sitting on the couch and I think, oh man, I need to go water the plants. And I'm like, no, no, no. All you have to do right now is rest. And I still feel that like, ooh, but like I'm just sitting on my couch. I can feel kind of the soft velvet because I have a navy blue velvet couch. I can feel the velvet of the couch. I can look around, I can see the fan going. I can smell the candle next to me, like whatever, but like really trying to bring my nervous system back to present. But again, we're the ones who have to control the message.
Do you think, I mean, you get on Facebook and you see everybody's perfect little or Instagram in particular. Oh my God, you get on Instagram and you see everybody's perfectly curated little lives, and you see all of the commercials, like if you just do this thing or that thing or this other thing or take this product, everything will be wonderful. Do you think perfectionism plays a little bit in our anxiety?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I think we put way too much pressure on ourselves. And again, we need to give ourselves permission to not be perfect. That, yeah, we don't have to be perfect. And if you do strive to be perfect, guess what? You're just now another one of those people on Instagram making other people feel bad. We don't need that. That's what you're getting from your perfect post. You're making someone else feel bad. So, nah,
Yeah, there's enough anxiety in the world. We don't need to contribute.
no, not at all.
How do you know though for the women that are struggling right now dealing with change? Because I think there's more women now than usual or than there used to be in the past because I feel like society is changing, the world is changing, and women are finding that they have to change and reinvent themselves. How do we know the difference between just normal growth discomfort? Because, yeah, growth is a little uncomfortable sometimes,
Right.
and like true overwhelm, crippling anxiety. How do we get past that? How do we know the difference?
The thing that helped me as I was kind of transitioning in my career was I looked for the women who went before me. I found the women who were just a little further down the path from me, and I invited them out for coffee, or I picked up the phone, or I emailed them my questions. Um, and I kind of had this mantra of if they can do it, I can do it. Because I always needed to have that like vision of somebody a little further down the path from me to feel like it was possible. And so that really helped me recognize, okay, these things that I'm feeling overwhelmed about, um, I know someone else who knows how to do these things. I know someone else who knows how to manage these things. And that helped tremendously for me um, as I was making these changes and transitions.
Do you mind if I ask for like some tips for my listeners?
Yeah. Tips in terms of,
Oh, just some, I don't know, just some practical, actionable things that they can do. Like, what's one small thing that they could do today to calm their anxiety or their overwhelmed nervous system?
mm, one, the very first step is when you feel anxious to just remind yourself, hey, I'm not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. Your body's doing exactly what it was designed to do. Um, I also, you'll probably notice me doing this a lot, putting my hand kind of on my upper sternum. I do that for a purpose, and it's for my own grounding. And so if you hold your hand kind of on your sternum for at least 20 seconds, it releases oxytocin to your brain, which is it's called the cuddle hormone, but it's the hormone that's triggered that helps you feel more grounded and less alone. And so if I'm feeling unsteady or my nervous system is feeling unsteady or I'm trying to send a more compassionate message to my nervous system or permission to rest, or I'm checking in with it and asking, is there a threat, or you don't need to do that thing right now, like whatever it is. If I put my hand here as I'm sending that message, it kind of helps it sink a little deeper into my system. Um, Another little trick that I kind of randomly discovered by accident the other day when I was getting really stressed out and upset with my son, and I was getting a little like, ragey, um, was my mind kind of flashed to if you've ever been in an exercise class and they tell you to breathe into a muscle. And I always thought, well, that sounds a little woo-woo, but whatever. But like if you feel a muscle that's kind of tight and they say just kind of breathe into that muscle and kind of visualize yourself breathing into it, it kind of helps it loosen up a little bit. And so I was like, why don't I try that with my nervous system? You always hear people saying, take deep breath and box breathing and everything. And that never really quite did it for me. It's like one of the most common like advice that people give, but I'm like, it didn't quite hit. So I was like, well, what if I imagine myself breathing into my nervous system, like into that where I feel it in my body? And so, like, normally I feel it in my chest. And so if I breathe into my chest, like my upper chest, and I kind of feel it expanding with air, um, it immediately calmed my system down. And it almost felt like I was giving myself like a nice cool sip of water, right? Where I was just kind of slowly breathing into it. Um, and the shift that I noticed um almost surprised me at how calming it was. And again, all of that was from listening to my nervous system, noticing where I felt it in my body, and then offering it something in response.
And for all of you questioning, yes, you absolutely can direct your breath. I know it sounded kind of woo to me too when I first started practicing breath work, but
Yeah.
you absolutely can learn to direct your breath.
Yes, amazing.
What's one boundary that women need to stop apologizing for?
Mm. I mean, the obvious answer is saying no. Um, I think bringing it a little more specific is don't apologize for not being able to respond right away.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just kind of letting somebody know, like, hey, not right now. Because again, you're protecting your space, you're protecting your peace, you're telling them, but you're also telling your nervous system, you don't have to do that right now. Um, yeah, I love the mantra, one thing at a time, one thought at a time. So if I notice I'm doing something and I think about something else I need to do, and my nervous system's like, oh, okay. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. One thing at a time, one thought at a time. Finish this first. And I notice like a peace that I feel.
I like that because my mind does wander when I'm working on things.
Yep. And then your nervous system's like, okay, let's go. I'm like, no, 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 no. Direct that traffic back here.
All right, then what's one habit, and that's probably mine. What's a habit that keeps us stuck in anxiety cycles?
Suppressing, ignoring, trying to push it away. It'll keep you stuck because it's trying to work for you, it's trying to help you. And if you fight it, it's just gonna assume that it must not have hurt you, so it's gonna talk a little louder.
Oh, that explains so much.
Right. Right.
What's one thing you wish women would stop doing to themselves mentally?
Hmm. Shitting all over yourself. Shitting.
I love that. I need that on a t-shirt. Okay.
Yep. Don't shit all
Love
over.
that. Ah. Has your own definition of success, do you think, has it changed because of the work you do?
Yeah. I mean, I think instead of, you know, putting my success as accomplishments or money or, career goals, I think my version of success has been how well can I find my own peace throughout the day? Um, to me, that's been the biggest obstacle, but also the biggest game changer.
Have you learned something from from anxiety? I don't know if you've ever experienced it. I mean, I'm assuming maybe you have some personal
Yeah,
experience with it
yeah.
because we usually gravitate towards things that we've experienced ourselves. Has it taught you something personally?
I think it's taught me more about myself and about my needs. And so if I'm willing to listen to what my nervous system or my anxiety is trying to tell me, um, I gain a lot of insight into myself, into my worries, into where I need support, where I need um, camaraderie, where I need some reassurance. Um, it's kind of like been a window into my soul, not to sound too cheesy, but kind of has been.
What do you think? Oh, that's a good way to put this. I wrote this really long piece not too long ago about how I spent so many years chasing what I thought I wanted
Mm.
what I thought I was craving, only to discover that, yeah, that wasn't really it after all.
Yeah.
That what I really wanted was just peace and quiet.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that people are truly, what do you think they're truly craving underneath all the stress and the pressure and the anxiety? Do you think they're truly looking for something, I don't know, different?
Yeah. I mean, I think peace. Yeah. I mean, I think people think maybe they're thinking of trying to pursue happiness, but then that feels too broad to me of, well, what makes you happy? Is it success? Is it, money? Is it a partner or whatever? Um, but in reality, I think if what you're really craving is peace, it kind of it's harder to derail yourself if you're looking for peace.
Yeah, I think that because I used to suffer from horrible, I don't want to say social anxiety. I don't know. It would just I had moments. Okay. I
No,
had moments,
social anxiety is
and
one of mine.
I
For
think I was chasing all the things that I was told would make me, that was a measure of success.
sure.
You had to have the right car and the right clothes and the right spouse and the right neighborhood and the right and I finally discovered that no, let's not. I mean, I live in an old country house at the end of a private dirt road in the middle of nowhere. And, I don't have a fancy car. I have a Jeep and I'm happy. Okay. It's like
Right?
I'm happy. I don't feel the
Yes.
need to be running in and the people are like, well, you're a speaker. Why aren't you speak? I speak in places where I feel I can really bring a message and I don't fight to be on stages that I don't feel are a good fit for me just so I can be, oh, look, I'm a speaker. And I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's different. For the very first time in a long time,
Mm.
I feel I feel like a success because I'm finally living life my way and I
Love it.
just don't know that women are I don't know how we get them there. How do we get them to
Yeah.
understand that it's okay to put all of that behind you if it's just causing you stress and anxiety and go,
Mm.
you know what? I'm good with whatever. I'm happy being a
Yes.
mom. I'm happy being not a mom. I'm happy in my high powered career. I'm happy sitting on my front porch doing absolutely nothing. Okay. Whatever it is
Yes.
that you want to do, it's okay. There's no one size fits all thing that says this is what you have to be, but we see that all over everywhere now. And I don't help
Right.
women to give that up.
Yeah, I think if we're looking externally at others or looking at what we think should make us happy, we're looking in the wrong place. But if we look internally and we pay attention to what our nervous system is telling us, it will tell us when we're feeling peace. It will tell us when we're feeling happy. So you probably, when you're pulling up into your house and like it's the end of the day and you're just like finally out at peace and there's no one else around you and you're just like your nervous system probably sends you a signal of like, ah, we're happy now. We're peaceful now, right?
It is. It's fun. I have a garden in the front, a flower garden in the front, and my husband went out and got all these little solar powered lights
Mm,
that go in the and it's so I pull up and I see at night all of these multicolored lights in my garden, and it's just like,
that's
they
your
just
moment,
make
your
me
exhale moment.
happy.
Yes. And when that happens, that's the third strand of your vagus nerve saying, ah, we're at peace now. We're good.
Well, this has been really eye-opening in a lot of ways. Where can people find Hello Anxiety and how do they
Yeah.
connect with you online?
Yeah. So Hello Anxiety, I'll pull it up again, is available on Amazon. You can also go to my website, www.heididennislpc.com. It's HeidiDennislpc.com. And that's where you can find a link to the book on there. Yeah.
I will put links to the book and to her website in the show notes. But it's an excellent book. Like I said, I just finished it and
Oh,
I
good.
was I was getting through it going, yeah.
It's
I've been
deceptively
there.
simple. Yep, yep, yep.
What do you hope readers take away from your work?
Um, you're not broken. Anxiety is there to help you. Um, look internally as your guide, for your path to peace instead of looking externally.
If listeners remember like one thing from this conversation, what do you hope it is?
Mm, you're not broken. You're not
So,
broken. Yeah,
so many of us feel like we are when we don't conform.
yeah.
I'm glad to hear you say that. This has been, like I said, it's been really just illuminating because so many women are still out there and they feel, I don't know, they feel like there's something wrong with them. And it's
Mm,
good. I love the fact that you tell them to work with it and stop trying to push it down.
yeah,
I love this discussion because I think we're tired of feeling like we have to constantly fight ourselves
for
just to
sure.
function or succeed or keep up.
For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love the fact that you say the answer isn't pushing harder. It's
Mm-mm.
learning to listen to ourselves a little better
Like
and
that's exactly
with
right.
ourselves.
That's
So,
exactly right.
ladies, if this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone else who might need to hear it too, because there are a lot of women out there that struggle with this every day.
Yeah.
And be sure to connect with Heidi. Please check out her book, Hello Anxiety. It is so good. Even if you think you don't struggle with anxiety, you're gonna recognize yourself in some of it. I promise you. You'll be looking at it going, "Oh, yeah, been there." I'll make sure all of her information is linked in the show notes. And as always, thank you for being part of the Rebel Tribe. And until next time, keep finding your voice and building your life on your own terms, and maybe just being a little less anxious and a little rebellious along the way.
Mm-hmm. Here, here.